Hello and welcome to the Clarity Confessions, the place for clarity, inspiration, and business secrets from top female entrepreneurs. And today on the show, we have Jenn Scalia. Jenn is a visibility strategist for entrepreneurs who want to make an impact. She is a self-professed introvert and a single mom who went from rock bottom to creating a 7-figure business within 3 years. She is a super talented coach, a savvy businesswoman, and I have had the personal pleasure of working with her, which is precisely why I wanted to bring her expertise to the show today. Welcome, Jenn.
Hey, Cailen. I'm super excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here sharing your story and your expertise. And I'd love to just dive in with, how did you get started on this entrepreneurial path that you're now on?
It's an interesting story, actually. I feel like a lot of people do it on purpose, or they have a need. Maybe they want to get out of their 9 to 5. I was actually working a 9 to 5 that I actually really loved. It was one of my highest paid jobs. I was actually paid to do social media and be on Facebook for 40 hours a week. So you really couldn't beat that. And I ended up actually getting laid off from that job. And I was really upset. Because like I said, it was one of my highest paying jobs. I actually enjoyed it. And it was at that time, my son was about 2.5 years old. And at that time, it was actually the second layoff that I had experienced in about a 2-year period. And I decided that I just wanted to do my own thing. I was tired of, walking into work or getting a phone call that says, oh, hey, you're not getting a paycheck anymore. And I really wanted to kind of take the reins, I guess, on my life and create something where I had the control over the paycheck that I was getting, who I was working for, how much money I would make. So that really was the start of my journey into this crazy thing called entrepreneurship.
Yes, it is crazy, isn't it? So before we move into more conversation, I'd love to kick it off with some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
When did you get clarity about your current business?
I really got clarity when I shifted and transitioned from working with normal, quote unquote, women to working with leaders.
Describe your business in 10 words or less.
I help women start and grow online businesses.
And why do you love the work that you're doing?
I love it because I really feel like it gives all of us a fair opportunity to make something out of our lives and to create the wealth that we desire.
And what makes you feel the most successful?
It's the people that I help. I am really about this ripple effect, and I feel that every person that I help can help 10 or 20 or hundreds or thousands of people, and I'm really able to just reach so many people. It's amazing.
And what personal practices or self-care do you make time for regularly?
Oh, I am such a self-care junkie. I am always taking care of myself. I'm always pampering myself, getting my nails done, getting massages, things like that. But as far as a personal practice, I am pretty obsessive about my journaling and manifestation process that I have going on every morning.
And so what for you is the best thing about being an entrepreneur?
I think, this may sound cliche, but it's the freedom. It's me being able to sleep in if I want to sleep in. It's me being able to not have to go to work if I don't feel well. It's me being able to jump on a plane and go travel somewhere and reach even more people, and just being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it and with who I want to do it.
And so then what's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur?
I feel the hardest thing is really that a lot of people don't understand what we're doing. I feel, other entrepreneurs do, but, family, friends, people that are quote unquote, normal or in a 9 to 5, like they just don't get it. So, it's a lot easier now that I've developed relationships with other entrepreneurs, but definitely in the beginning it was tough because no one got it.
Yeah. And so last question, what is one word that sums up your business mission?
One word. The one word would be leadership.
That's a good one. And so I'd like to maybe start with, what did your first year in business look like in this business that you're building? I mean, I know you've had such success in your time, in the last 3 years. I mean, you've skyrocketed to success, but what did that first year look like for you?
The first year was horrible. And I love actually sharing this story because, like you said, like from the outside looking in, it's like, Jenn, you just skyrocketed. You did so much and so fast, right? But the reality is, like, this success that I have now was really only in the past 2 years, because the first year was a total like flake. I didn't make any money my first year. I didn't get the help that I needed as far as like hiring coaches and things like that. I was really trying to do it on my own, and I struggled and I got stuck, even though marketing and social media was my background. Online marketing and social media was completely different. It was like a whole new ball game, and I really didn't know what to do. And I also kept myself stuck. I kept myself playing small. I hid. I was invisible. I didn't even put myself out there as far as asking for sales. I didn't want to get on the phone with people. So, that first year was pretty rough, just really trying to figure out my footing and like, did I really want to do this? And why did I really want to do this? So it took me actually an entire year to get my first paying client.
And so if someone's listening and they're having a similar experience and the first year is just awful, what would your advice be to them in this moment?
A couple things. Definitely find that bigger mission that you have. A lot of people get into entrepreneurship and it's for, maybe they just want to leave their 9 to 5, or they want to have extra money, or they want to be able to pay off some credit cards or pay their mortgage. And the goal is very small or very limited. Think of what the bigger purpose is. It's not just to pay a bill. It's not just to get a paycheck. It's for a reason, for a purpose. Do you want to impact more people? Do you want to change lives? Do you want to instill health in people? Whatever it is that your bigger mission is, focus on that, because if you have these like small goals or these small visions, when you get in that place and you get stuck, you're going to stay there. But if you have a bigger mission that you're working towards, that's going to drive you.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I find that even now, and there's moments in my business when I'm thinking, oh gosh, I'm getting like bogged down by the numbers and things, just remembering the mission underneath it all, it kind of lightens everything up and just makes you have more fun and more ease with it, which lets everything flow, including the money and the clients.
Exactly. And I always think of like these like famous examples that people have, Thomas Edison tried 100 times, for the light bulb, and, all these people like got turned down for like 300 loans, and, they got turned down for like 200 contracts, like all of these really famous, amazing people. And you think about something like that and you think, wow, most people quit after like once or twice.
Yeah.
But they had such a big mission. They had so much purpose that thing meant more than like their ego.
Yeah, perseverance. That's something that I think all of us can take a lesson from, that it is so easy to give up in that first year, but to remember that it's just a phase. We all have to kind of move through it. It's kind of our training ground, and we're all the better for it. We learn so many lessons, and then we're able to share it with our clients that we're working with. So it kind of is helpful in the end, but in the moment it can be rough.
Yeah.
So after that first year, what shifted for you, or what was the catalyst that then brought in the success after all that struggle?
Yeah, there was a couple of different things that happened. So after that first year, like when I got my first paying client, I really was at a point where I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice about either continuing to pursue the business or go back and get a job. I was on the verge of like losing my house. I wasn't paying my bills. And I really had this like come to Jesus moment where it was like, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to step up? Are you going to put yourself out there and do what needs to be done? Or are you going to go get a job, miss, your son's early years and not be able to like go to his football games and go to his, class events and things like that? And, it was in that moment that I decided to just really, let go of all of the fears and the doubts and the ego stuff that was stopping me and go full force in my business. And that was about February of 2014. And then about 6 months later is when I hired my first coach. I really feel that hiring that person was such a catalyst for my success and really getting clarity on what I wanted and what I needed to do and the people that I needed to serve. And I didn't have the money really to hire her. I don't think anybody really has the money, to make an investment, but at the time I really felt like I needed to do something because I was like treading water, by myself, and I really needed to figure it out. So hiring a coach was pivotal for me in my success.
Yeah, I think that's something also that I know in my own business, it was until I hired that coach, I felt really uncomfortable saying that I could help people in a coaching capacity. It felt very inauthentic. And that was maybe something I just personally struggled with. But it was, I was trying to help these women based on, the kind of the experiences that I had had. But until I hired that coach and learned from someone above me, I didn't have that energy shift of being able to really feel capable of serving the women I was working with in a really powerful way. So
absolutely, because you can only take people as far as you've gone. So if you don't even see the value in investing in yourself, or think, oh, I'm not going to, invest in coaching because it's too much money. Like you're already putting out that energetic, you're pushing them away.
Yeah. And so if someone is butting up against that, and that's, such a block for so many people, that, that first investment in themselves, is there any advice that you would give them if they're, kind of gun shy about pulling the trigger on that?
Yeah, I think the reason why most people are is not necessarily a lack of belief in the other person that that the other person is going to deliver, but more of a lack of belief that they're actually going to do what needs to be done to reap their investment back. So, I mean, if you're in that situation, I would advise you to just really check in with yourself and go back to that mission, go back to that bigger vision and say, do I believe in this? Do I believe in this enough to put it all on the line? Do I believe in this enough to take this risk? And if you don't, then you probably shouldn't be doing whatever you're doing, or, being an entrepreneur, because that's what it really is all about. It's about us risking everything for our dream and this vision that we have.
Oh, that's such good advice. And I think, when we show that we value ourselves, other people see the value in us. And until we have that shift, we're just kind of stuck. And it can be really challenging. I was hoping you wouldn't mind sharing, in the group program that I moved through with you, you had some of these really insightful ways to find, I think you called it hidden money in your business right now. I was hoping you wouldn't mind maybe sharing just a couple of those, because it was really helpful for me to think about, where am I leaving money on the table in my business? We're always taught to, look for new clients and keep growing the business, but there's so many ways that we can capitalize on what we've already built to bring in money right now.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think lots of people leave money on the table. I probably still leave money on the table. I think there's just so much that we try to do and try to accomplish that we forget about what we've already done. So this is, really going back to looking at what you've achieved, looking at your progress. Who have you already been in contact with? Are there people that maybe you've connected with? Are there people that you've talked to on the phone before? One of the things that we talk about in that program is the low-hanging fruit. There are people that are in your space that are ready to invest with you right now. And just like you were saying, we sometimes are like, oh, I need new people, or I need to get more people on my list, when there is literally people within your reach right now that you can reach out to and just say, hey, this is what I'm offering, or hey, I just came up with this new program. Would you like to learn more about it? And so I think a lot of people do leave money on the table by not doing that, and also by not doing the personal outreach for somebody that they feel like could be a really great fit for their program or service. The other thing that we talked about when it came to hidden money in your business was actually raising your rates. I find that it's very prevalent in our industry that people aren't charging enough for their services. Women are grossly undercharging actually what they provide for someone as far as the transformation. So even something as simple as raising your rates a couple $100s and getting new clients that way can bring in more money to your business. I actually just had a client who was charging $500 a month for her services, for her coaching services. And she, we worked together with her confidence and her valuation of her services and what she was doing for people. And she went from charging $500 a month to charging $5,000 for the full package. And, that's 10xing her rates almost. And I mean, people are buying them like hotcakes. So it's just crazy. Like, a lot of people, I think, get nervous or scared that somebody doesn't want to invest, or that they have to keep their price low because it's going to be an easier sell. And that's actually probably never true. I feel like sometimes when we have a rate that's really low, people start to wonder like what's wrong with that person or why is it so cheap. So, something as simple as just raising your rates or increasing, the price on a service or a product can bring in extra money into your business like that.
That's great advice. And I think it speaks to kind of a larger issue, like you were saying, about our valuation of ourselves and our own self-worth. And if we're charging really low rates, what is that saying about how we feel about ourselves and therefore how our clients or potential clients would feel about us too? If we're undervaluing ourselves, obviously they would undervalue. And it tends to draw in not the greatest clients a lot of times because they're just looking for a deal, not necessarily for your expertise.
Absolutely. I had one coach say to me before, when people pay more, they pay attention. And I've noticed that. I've noticed that even within myself. Like when I first started, before I had hired my coach, I was just buying a bunch of programs. I would buy, $199 program, maybe a $500 program, maybe a $1,000 program. But I was just like, I was trying to piecemeal it. I was trying to put it together just by buying these like little programs here and there. And now I feel like if I buy something and it doesn't really like, if it's not a stretch for me, I usually just put it on the back burner, and I won't touch it because I don't see the value in it. I'm like, oh, well, it wasn't that much money. It was only $50, or it was only, $200. So I don't want to do it. So I feel that people do, everybody has their limits, on what they think is a lot and what they think is not. But, I feel it's the same way. So if somebody's just paying a little tiny portion and it's not really stretching them in any way, they're probably not going to put as much into it as if every time they made that investment or every time they paid, monthly, that it was kind of like, oh, okay, I got to make this work.
Exactly. We don't prioritize it. If it's just this, kind of low end sort seeming investment, it's like, oh, it's not necessary. I don't need to move through it. It wasn't that much money. It is funny how our mindset around the whole thing is shifted when we make a significant investment.
Yes.
So you mentioned, as we were talking about where people leave money on the table, personal outreach. And this is something that I've been talking about so much lately with my clients and my community, because I think a lot of them, especially when they're newer in business, they kind of entered into the online space and think, oh, I'm just going to automate everything and create these online products that sell themselves via email and, money's just going to arrive in my inbox. And yes, we can get to a place where that happens for us, but it's not where we start. And I'd love to just hear your take a little bit about the importance of personal outreach, especially in the early phases of your business.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that people do kind of come into the space and they're like, I just want recurring revenue. I just want leveraged income. And you really have to have a platform first, before you can do that, because people need to like you and trust you and know who you are. So if you come into the space like, oh, I'm just going to create this thing, it could be the most amazing thing on the planet. But if people don't know about you or if people don't trust you or they don't understand where you're coming from, you're never going to sell it anyway. So, I think definitely one-on-one is the way to start. It's also going to give you a lot of feedback. It's also going to give you the content and the sources that you need to create an epic program or, service that is automated. So I think always starting there. And as far as the personal outreach, I just think it's so important to connect with people that you feel that you can help. So, when I talk about personal outreach, what I mean is, let's say, for example, you want to fill a program or like maybe it's a group program or a mastermind or something. Have those people in mind that you are like, this person would be really great for this. Or I feel that I can really help with this person. I'd really like to, help this person. And actually send an email to that person. I like to send the emails before it goes out to my whole list or before it goes out on social media. And I would say something like, I have this program coming up, I'm just about to announce it to my list in a couple of days, but I really feel that, based on our conversation before or, based on what I know about you, I think you're going to be an excellent fit. If you want to know about it, just let me know. And it really it makes them feel special, right? Because you're thinking about them, you are letting them know before the whole world knows. And it really just creates that connection and bond. And especially if it's somebody that maybe you've had a discovery call with before and maybe they didn't sign up, it really just kind of starts and ramps up that relationship again with them.
Yeah, that's so important. And it feels really good. It's just such an authentic way to go about building relationships in your business and connecting with women. And whether or not they actually move forward with working with you, they are so often touched and moved by that personal outreach that they speak really highly of you to other people. And so it plants seeds in that way too.
Totally. And you know what? Everyone doesn't always become a customer, but they can certainly become, an advocate of you or a fan of your work.
Exactly. So now that we're kind of nearing the end of our conversation, I'd love to just get from you, do you have an action step or a challenge for the listeners today based on what we were talking about, something that would help move them forward right now in their business?
Yeah, I think this is going to go back to finding out what that mission is. What is that deep desire that you have for your business? It's not to make money. It's never to make money. That's just like the surface level thing. Maybe it might not even be to get out of your job. What is the bigger vision that you have? Because once you have that, that's what's going to get you up in the morning. That is going to be your power statement. And every time you have a down moment or you start to fear or you start to doubt, you can always go back to that statement. No, this is what I'm put on earth here to do. This is my mission. This is what I am getting up and working for every day. So just having a really solid view of the work that you're doing and why you're doing it.
Fantastic. And lastly, where can our listeners find you and connect with you?
Absolutely. So my website is pretty simple. It's jennscalia.com. I have lots of goodies on there. I have some PDFs about, how to really create visibility in your space. I also have a free mindset mini course that is excellent for anybody that is starting a business, really practical steps to getting your mindset in order so that you can fully thrive in your business. And then also they can go to jennscalia.com/tribe, and that will take them to my group of over 10,000 female entrepreneurs.
Oh, fantastic. Jenn, thank you so much for everything you shared on this show today. It was really insightful, and it was just a pleasure spending this time with you too.
That was amazing. You asked wonderful questions.
Oh, thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.